Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and you find me again at Ian Tyrrell's amazing workshop. We were here a few weeks ago and we were taking the engine out of the Espada, and in this video I've come up again because he's got it on the bench and we're now going to delve into the engine and actually take the heads off and see what horrors are inside. You might remember from the previous one, basically this Espada I've had a few years, and we're out on that Espada tour last September, and it started to use water at an alarming rate and sort of overheating and generally fairly unhappy. So we're expecting head gaskets and things like that, but I've taken the plunge to do a proper engine rebuild on it because it's also using a bit of oil. So anyway, I'm quite curious to see, well, more than curious to see what's inside. So let's go and have a closer look at the engine and see Ian and see how he's getting on. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Lovely to see you again.
And you?
Yeah. And here it is. I mean, my first impression when I walked over there, it looks like a race engine. I don't know whether it's the sort of gears under here. You know, you've taken this front cover off. You've done a little bit of stripping, haven't you? So
Yes.
what's going on here? That's the end of the crank, isn't it?
That's it. And they're the primary gears for each timing chain that drives each cylinder head.
Okay.
So 2 timing chains.
Right.
Gear driven off the crank. A lot of Italian car manufacturers, this is pretty standard 1960s engine sort of architecture for out there Italian engines.
Yeah.
4-cam, of course.
Yeah, this is sort of race engine spec, isn't it?
Well, it was originally designed as a race engine.
So,
And it was detuned. Giotto Bizzarini originally designed it to race.
Yeah.
But it's because of that, it's quite sort of neat and quite elegant, for want of a better way of putting it.
No, it is. I mean, it is a really pretty engine.
It is.
And I'm dying to have a look inside. So, plan today then is to do what?
Well, what we're going to do, this cam chain is ready to come off. Just pull the sprockets off there.
Right.
That one we have to take a link out because there's actually a bit in the head that runs underneath the chain, so we have to thread it out.
Right.
I have to warn you, taking cylinder heads off can be a bit of a fraught process.
Oh, really? Right, so that's why you're doing it and I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Well, there's a bit of a spectrum of sort of falls off, which is what we want.
Yes.
Or similarly, I had a situation with the V12 Ferrari. I don't want to worry you.
Yes.
20 years ago,
Yes.
where it took a week of hanging the car's weight by a crane
We
before the
haven't
head
got a
decided to move.
We haven't got a week.
We'll go for
No.
the other end.
Yeah, so the heads will come off, and then if they all go swimmingly, we'll actually take the sump off as well then.
Yeah,
Have a look.
and pull a piston and 2 out and see
Right.
what's it.
Okay.
What I would like to see, having got to this stage, is some evidence of coolant just getting from the coolant system
Right.
into the combustion.
Why
one
it was
or two.
losing water. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
If it's perfect, then I'd be worried, basically.
Ian, so this is a two-man job, is it, taking the heads off? You've got Marcus to come along.
Yes, if anything goes wrong, I can blame him.
Is that what it is? So no pressure there, Marcus, at all.
no.
Yeah. So first things obviously, cam chains are coming off at the moment, aren't they? And
They are.
And then cams come off as well. do
No,
they?
cams stay
Cam
in
can
situ.
stay?
Yeah.
Right. And you're showing me this little hole in the lobe here. I can't get over. There's not a lot of wear on these cams, and there's actually oil pumped out of that as it's twirling around, isn't it? The cams are hollow.
Well, that's right. As the cam spins, that hole, if you can see on that one better actually.
Oh, that one up there.
The oil pressure actually, it's got a low pressure feed to the cams.
Right.
And the oil jets out of that constantly while it's got oil pressure, i.e. while it's
Yeah.
running. And it's just in time for the lobe to come round and hit the
I see.
bucket.
So that's going around that way. So it's
Yeah.
puts oil, wipes it there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, isn't it?
And consequently, these cams are in beautiful nick actually.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say at the back, wasn't it? That I can't get over that oil seat. How dry this! You haven't really cleaned this engine up that much, have you? So that's remarkably dry.
Yes.
All around that seal.
It is.
So flywheel sits there.
Yeah.
So you don't normally see that, but yeah, the bits that have come off are over here, aren't they? Oh dear, that's had a bit of wear, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's quite normal.
Is it?
Yeah. It's got no high spots on it, which is what we're
Right.
looking for.
Right.
Or cracks. That's okay, actually.
That'd be all right. So that'll
Yeah.
just get machined down.
Doesn't need that. Just needs dressing up with some
really?
some
Oh,
wet and
okay.
dry. Yeah.
And that's
That's the oil pump, actually.
There's the oil pump. Can't see
So that
anymore.
whole assembly bolts on the front of the engine.
Yeah. And that's
your missing gear.
the rotor, and that's the rotor that won't go past the engine.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, that bit. Cam covers over there, ready to have some sort of treatment to be decided. That's where you fill the oil up, isn't it? And that's just sits on top.
And that mounts the air conditioning compressor. It's very light.
Gosh. Oh yeah, we had a few comments, didn't we, last time on some of the things we were doing, and the blue rope lifting the engine out just had a few comments, didn't it, Ian?
Yes.
You know, on YouTube. Your reasons for using the blue rope are?
Well, first of all, that rope is rated up to 2 tons tensile strength.
Right.
So it's more than man enough to lift a 200 kilo engine out. But secondly, it doesn't scratch. You don't have to start putting cloths in the way because the chains and things can...
If you use chains, that was what would happen, wouldn't it? All this aluminium was super delicate.
Exactly. The cam covers would get scrawped and things because they stick out here. That's the point of load.
Right.
So no, that's why we
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we wear nice watches because we want to know what time it is, don't we?
Yeah, we do, yes.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah, any product placement is purely coincidental.
Yeah. Anyway, right, hammers come out though.
Yes, but we're not using them as hammers, we're using them as levers.
Oh, I see.
To try and...
Oh, you're just tapping. Oh, it's moving.
Hang on.
Does
that move then?
Yeah. This just. Yeah, I saw that. Just moved there. There we go.
Seals broke.
Yes.
Oh no. I don't
it's an easy one. So it's a 5-minute job.
You lead a charmed life, Mr. Metcalf.
Yeah. Well, again, you know, I'm counting the hours. You know.
It can't be that easy, can it?
Oh, yeah. It's just
Is it going to come off?
It is.
It's
going to come off.
Oh, no. Oh, it's going to come off to there. No. Hey! That's good, is it?
That's beyond.
the upside.
Very pleased. God, look at how tall the dome of those pistons are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have a look in here as well.
Is that the right colour? There's plenty to see here.
Oh, is there?
Yes. See that? That's too clean.
Oh, when waters travel,
Yes.
it cleans this. I've had this on a little Lotus of mine. Yeah.
The gasket's not been doing its job there.
Have we got any light? We need to have some light.
There you go. So that coolant's been coming from the passage here
It's almost
over.
Right. So that's pressurised, blowing water. No, hang on. The water's there, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll be the other way around actually, because of the extreme pressure that comes in the combustion chamber. It actually blows gases into the cooling system.
Oh, right.
And sort of over-pressurizes the cooling system, which pushes water out your cap, basically. I mean, that doesn't look too bright either, that one there.
No, just there.
I mean, it's good because the engine obviously hasn't been in a lot of distress.
No.
The gasket's been doing its job. I'm really...
That's what we want to see, yeah.
Yeah, we do want to see that.
Yeah.
I hate to sound, as though I'm gloating at your misfortune, but actually, no, that is what we want to see.
Yeah. This again, just how much piston goes into the cylinder head. Just a really dome piston, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the cutouts for the valves.
Yeah, I mean, for their time, these were very high compression engines. In the 1960s, they were stood a state of the art for road cars, and we can't really tell. If you look at that,
God, there's a load of movement, isn't it?
well, you can't really tell for sure, because if you look, it's actually, the top is rocking, but it looks as though it's rocking sort of on the bottom of the piston on the skirt, right down the bottom. It's the top that's sort of moving like that.
It's a huge amount of movement.
It is. The clearance at the bottom of between the piston and the bore is tiny. It's 0.1 of a millimetre, or about 0.004 of an inch.
Gosh. Right.
But the reason why there's so much clearance at the top is it's the crown that gets all the heat.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So this has to expand.
So that expand more than the bottom.
The line is cast iron, basically,
Right.
which has a lower coefficient of expansion than the aluminium. So
Yeah.
the piston actually expands into the bore and takes up the clearance. And the
Clever stuff.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the piston clearances because when you started your engine from cold,
Yeah,
there
didn't
was
have
no piston slap.
no, that is true. Yeah.
They can sound like a diesel if they've got,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So that's all good.
Good.
Yeah. The reason why whoever put this head on has actually put copper grease on the studs. See?
Oh gosh, yeah.
So that's why it came off so easily.
Right.
So once the seal's
Top
broken,
tip.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a top tip. Even spark plugs should have a bit of copper grease. I can't believe this. Yeah, it's loose.
Yeah.
You just see it moving here. Yeah. I'll tell you, we'll have it rebuilt by this afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. This is unbelievable.
This gasket's just sticking to it now. There we go. Hey. Good old copper slip. You've got the same again there.
Yes.
It's not as pronounced though.
No, it isn't. But see, that looks a bit suspect there. That one there.
Yeah.
What really you should have on a head gasket is a nice clean firing ring all the way around. That's what does the work on the head gasket.
Right.
And some of these just look a little
Yeah,
iffy. See, that's
just
not
there.
quite clearly
Yeah.
defined. So I'm convinced we found you.
That's definitely, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's been-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Good.
Definitely found your coolant, boss.
Right. Right. It's gone through 90 degrees. What's going on? Here's the sump.
It is. This is the sump.
God, look at that for a caster. It's silly to get excited about just it's a good looking bit of metal, isn't it? I don't know, something about it.
Yeah.
And what we got here is sump plug and then a temperature.
Oil temperature transmitter.
Guilty. You've got to watch this because you can go through the things, or these Maseratis do. I don't know if this is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ground out too much, that's the carb.
Oh yes.
Hitting
Yeah.
potholes and
And of
things.
course, the problem with alloy sumps is they can crack. And then you're in real trouble.
That little tiny 10mm nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here we go. God, this is it.
All right.
We haven't had. This is the first time this is coming off. So people probably won't believe it. But there we go.
Gosh, all baffled up.
Yeah. Usual assemblage of
Yes, not very
detritus in
Yeah,
a
that's
pickup
not-
filter.
That's why you have that there, then.
Yeah.
God, what is that? Is that bits of gas?
It is. That's exactly what it will be. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a little, blocking that slightly, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's when you see bits of bearing that you really start to
bits
worry.
of metal, yes.
I can cope with a few bits of gas.
It all looks, I'm going again, but it does look pretty clean in there. There's no sort of, it's not coked up. Sometimes you take the sump off and this is all black, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this all looks pretty clean to me.
It does. Yeah.
Right, that's the compression test you did there. So you,
Yeah.
what's that mean? So that's what you've put in.
That's the actual, we've done a pressure test as well as a leakage
compression
test.
test,
So the leakage test there, as you can see on number 4.
Right, and that's.
So you've got like a 24% drop compared to all the others. So like 36. So yeah, those two there.
So 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Or as you see it there, you're on 6, 7. Well, you're on 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Oh,
Depending on
right,
the engine
other way around.
configuration. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to extract that one and that one to see what we can see.
So, yeah, 2 Conrods to 1 journal. So
Yeah. It's 2 straight 6 engines offset 60 degrees, basically.
yeah. That's quite common, though, isn't it?
Oh,
On
yeah.
V12, that's how.
It is, but Honda made some whizzy 90-degree V12s in the 1960s and things like that.
I like this. I suppose it's been, bathed in oil, but it's always nice to see things move like that, isn't it? That's the piston going up.
Yeah. Let me just pull this off.
Is that picked up?
left the shell in situ. That's what it's done.
So pick that. Got it.
There it is. How much wear is on the...
Oh, look at that.
Is that shiny?
That's
nice.
very good.
That's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
it is.
isn't anywhere at all.
Now, that little groove is caused by a tiny bit of grit
Yeah.
that's got in there, either on assembly or whatever, but it's minuscule. What I am interested to see is...
It's whether it's oversized.
Yeah.
That's... O1 ORA, that's...
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 10 thou undersized, those.
10 thou.
That's what 010 is.
Right.
10 thou, or a quarter of a mil.
So the crank has been machined in its life then, hasn't it?
It has. It's been machined to first undersize.
Just the last ring, and it's popped. There it is. God, they're so tiny. The piston's so short.
Yeah.
The skirt on them.
They are.
There you go.
Well, there we are.
Ah,
And
broken
there-
ring.
and
Broken
there
ring.
is
The proof
the
in the
lack.
pudding.
Yeah, that's the leak down test proved that was the problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Because the other thing is that oil control ring is actually quite worn, because it should have a more pronounced lip on the top and bottom of the ring. Yeah, it's not quite. See the flat worn on the very bottom of the ring there.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually worn away, the bottom of the oil control ring. It should be more pronounced than that.
Okay. So, yeah, it's all sort of good because that's easy fix, isn't it? That sort of stuff is a broken ring. What do you do? Do you reuse the piston where you wait and see? I suppose
Yeah.
you've got to get a bit deeper and see what.
Got
What's that
measure
one
it.
taking off?
That's the beluga.
That's the beluga again. It must be the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, the 20 past 12 beluga.
And the shells come off with this one. Yeah, again, that's lovely. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because they always had a sort of slightly cloudy look, isn't it?
Yes.
Big bearing.
Yeah. It's lead indium.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. How are we doing?
Yeah, okay, go on.
In the right way.
Oh, there we go.
Another, and there's the other broken ring. So the two that
Yeah.
had failed the leak down test had broken compression rings.
Well, actually, these engines do suffer with broken rings. So do Ferrari V12s of this era. Because when you start them from cold, you have to pump the Webers, of course, to get them to crack to fire.
Yes.
And it washes the bores,
Right.
takes the boundary layer of oil off the piston rings, and it can break them.
Right.
But I mean, it's generally good news.
Yeah.
You know. I bet the oil ring's one on that one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good.
Right. Yeah. And you see, it's got two nice big flats on it.
Yeah. How do you know which piston is which? Do you keep them numbered? Are they numbered?
Well, if the last person put it together properly, the conrods are actually numbered. And it looks like it has been put together. I mean, the fact that somebody put copper grease on the head studs is always good.
There's a little bit on that one, isn't there?
Oh, but do you know what? That's okay. I mean, I think we're going to find the crank's all right here, you know. I really do. It's obviously had no oil supply or contamination problems.
No. Can you get shells for this all right? Can you get shells or-
Within reason, yes. Yeah, it's 10,000 again.
So I'm pretty chuffed with that because 10 thou means just the first stage of the cranks being reframmed. Looking at the wear, there's no reason to do the crank by the look of things, is there?
Well, if the other journals are like that needs a slight polish, but it'll go again. We've got 10 thou to play with if we can get 20 thou undersized bearings if we need them.
Right.
But generally, it's exactly as I'd have liked to have seen it. You know, it's got all the faults we sort of thought would be there.
So head gaskets and broken compression rings So you're going to strip it, take all the pistons and rods out, and just
Measure everything.
So that's the next visit then, I
Yeah.
suppose. You will all be there. Well, fantastic, Ian. Thanks ever so much.
Pleasure.
Phew. Nothing too scary from an owner point of view. So there you go. That was the strip down of the Espada engine. I didn't know what we were going to find, but it's just really gratifying when you know there's a fault with the engine. It's using water, compressions aren't quite right, and it's breathing heavily, and you find both head gaskets ever such a slight weep on them, and then those broken piston rings on the two pistons that gave the leak down test problems. So yeah, as an owner, that's what I want to see, sort of easy things to cure. So right, well that's the end of this part 2 video. We'll come back in a few more weeks once Ian and Marcus have stripped the engine right down, measured everything up, and then we'll work out what we're going to do next before the build starts. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, keep watching, keep subscribing, because there'll be more videos coming on very soon.